All right, here's a couple quick things that I learned at NiCE Interactions that I think can add some value to you. Number one, got a chance on Monday to meet with Scott Russell during our executive advisory board, our customer executive advisory board meeting. You know, Barack was never there. Not to say, I think he did a fabulous job, right? Great CEO, but again, that was not his personality. Scott Russell was there for a ton of time. He answered a ton of questions. He took feedback. He took some punches, right? But he was there to kind of put his stamp on things. And I think it was very well taken. You know, he talked about speed, right? That's kind of the mantra that they're saying. Speed is a choice. That, you know, NiCE is now going to start sprinting with rollouts and the things and the technology that they want to put out into the market. They may make mistakes, but they're going to fix them just as quick. That was a change. The other thing was partnerships, right? In the CCaaS world, there's a lot of frenemies, right? A lot of people making the same thing, but you have to kind of, because of partners and customers, you have to kind of join together. So having the announcements, you know, the week before, 2 weeks before interactions of, you know, AWS, ServiceNow, and Snowflake, the day of interactions, now have really tight understanding of how we want to go together and be a partner and grow together is something that I don't think you would have seen, you know, a year ago, or have NiCE be moving towards that. I can't say it, but there's a lot of rumors that there's a really big announcement about to come as well on another player and in the CRM space. I think you can kind of figure that out, but we'll see if that happens. That's big because there's still a lot of questions out there, right? The CRM guys are building CCaaS tools. They're building voice. And so, you know, where does that line and what do customers do? Do they say, who's the platform of choice? Is it the CRM? Is it the CCaaS? And I think to have these kind of things built together, customers are starting to be more comfortable, right, with choosing the best selection and not having to go and or. The other question that I thought was interesting is, what is NiCE today, right? Is NiCE an AI platform? Is it a CCaaS platform? If they look in the mirror, what do they want to be called? And I think the answer that I really liked, you know, is from Chris Irwin-Dudek, who's in charge of kind of their marketing and public relations at NiCE. Is, you know, if you look at, this is kind of the natural progression of a technology company, right? NiCE started as kind of that on-prem WFM, voice biometrics, like all of this cool stuff that you kind of slap on your on-prem contact center. Realized that they needed to shift. Purchased inContact, became the premier, which I believe the premier cloud provider from a CCaaS platform, and now is having the next evolution into an AI platform. They talk about AI with CX today and being the leader in that space. I get the feeling that they're looking to move into other avenues with that as well. That's just my opinion. Nobody's told me about that, but from kind of everything that I gleaned, that's kind of where it seems. So really interesting, even from kind of an investor relations standpoint, you know, where things are going to evolve in that space. The thing that I noticed too is it's NiCE is becoming extremely enterprise, right? Everything is so high. It's high. It's high class, right? It's very well done. It's turning into, you know, one of the, I think, premier events from, you know, just from the food aspect, from, you know, the logistics of busing 3,500 people from Aria to, you know, the Virgin Theater, which used to be the Hard Rock Theater, and literally nobody waited. Like I didn't. It felt like anything, right? Like 35 buses that just picked people up and took them through that. Streets were shut off. It's awesome. But even the speakers, right? The speakers that were, you know, normally a lot of just even normal regular users of the platform, it seemed like it was a lot of really big names as speakers. So again, something to look for, you know, as we're kind of moving in the future and kind of how interactions as itself is evolving. I think it became a little bit more salesy, which I think you see that shift in kind of the leadership and kind of where they're coming from. So again, that was probably the one thing that I noticed that I wasn't super happy with. But I would tell you that 99% of all the things that I went through, that I talked with people through, from a product, from a roadmap standpoint, I mean, it was on point. And the event's super fun as well. Last thing that I wanted to kind of, you know, bring up is products. So again, Empower Agent was released, and it was cool to get kind of a snapshot and a demo of that the day before at the ECAB meeting. And, this basically allows you to a certain extent to just use regular prompting to create bots at scale, right? So again, there needs to be some work to make sure that your flows are there. But, once you have kind of that library, anybody can go in and just with human typing, right, really find out what is going on. The analytics that they're doing right now is off the chart, right? From an intent analysis and taking a intent that is coming through and a customer need that maybe you don't know about, and then creating a self-service avenue for that literally within 30 seconds because you have all your workflows built and you want to create a bot just for this specific use case, right? That stuff is now coming and starting to evolve. So I think what I saw was ease of use with AI. Power is getting exponentially better, but also the ease of use in the core platform, and then to get things on a kind of a self-service model, I think was really there too. So again, had a blast. You guys know it. I think user conferences are the way to go. You get more out of them than the CCWs and the ICMIs, in my opinion. Got a ton out of this week. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of insights into kind of what I saw.